not as good.
I can honestly say I like this movie a lot, but it was even better this time when I watched it. To sit there next to Enzo, I mean, I kept punching him all right through the whole movie. Like, great, shit. Brian Trenchard Smith.
My arm.
In the big Dunkirk scene, Brian Trenchard Smith turned to him and goes, "How did you do that?"
It was huge. It was amazing. How many days did you spend? At that time it was the biggest Italian movie made in that time. I mean, it was quite expensive for that time. Quite expensive. But
the budget and the number of days that you had to shoot it.
I got. I think that to do it now. Well, as we said before, with a computer, digital, maybe cost a lot, much more than how much cost at that time. But anyway, I would like to
wouldn't have the creativity.
Yeah. You know, handle, in touching the little, and especially with the mud shot. I mean, I just explained about the mud shot. When there is an airport, there are all the planes, and exist just 6 Spitfire, just 6. But no way to take off. It was just moving. And when there are all the pilots going and going on the plane aboard, was with them a big, and then the mud shot there is a big mat on the left. There was the hangar, and the pilot running but you see outside of the camera was just to mark. Crossing here, and from the mat, they are coming out from the hangar, all the pilots. And then on the right, there are the 6 planes, the real one. All the rest are the toys. But the toys in perspective, but the pilot are going there and running on just a little stair and the ladder, and then sit in the box. And there is the carlinga, you say, to close the plane. The only this. So if you see that outside, you will see a guy going on the ladder, sit on the box, and have just this couple close. But from the camera, it's just behind the toy. There is a toy here, and the pilot goes behind the toy, going up the toy, up the box where he's supposed to stay, and close exactly on the toy. I mean, it was all like this. It was fantastic. So very.
Oh, you were also saying the big, huge shot you have of Dunkirk. And you see all the soldiers.
But it got to here. We didn't see from the beginning. What a shame! Because from the beginning was the biggest shot in the movie. Because
it's cut up in the American version.
Just the cut and when they are already on the beach.
Yeah.
But when after the camera, when there is the Bell and Howell is mine.
Mm-hmm. The Bell and Howell is yours. Right, the guys using the film.
So after that, there is start with a city, far city, bombing, explosion with a fire, and then all the soldiers coming, and then coming into the beach. And this is a cut that unfortunately we didn't see, but of course with a mud shot we see all the city, all the building ruined and destroyed, but the cutting with by Emilio Ruiz, and was just 2 meters in front of the camera. But the fire and the smoke was 3 kilometers far.
I thought it made Atonement look like a piece of shit.
Yeah. You give us big emotion to see the game.
It was fantastic to see. You really have to realize it's never really been released here. It was in the syndication TV package somewhere, and maybe in the 4th run of something, an Exchange House Center. But this really is its first real official American screen. Now, before we leave this movie, though, I have to have you tell one story, and that was the story of the first day you worked with Van Johnson.
Oh, unbelievable, because I was waiting for Vengeance because I was a big fan of him, but a big fan. So I asked for Vengeance in all my movies. May I have a Vengeance? May I have at last, in the Battle of Britain, the occasion to have the possibility, because the producer paid Vengeance, and they will have a Vengeance. So at last, but it will come in the 5th week of the shooting. So I was shooting, and we went. We was shooting in the museum in Madrid, and the way is to use only the afternoon, because in the morning they are using the museum, but in the afternoon it was for us. So. And Vengeance is coming, and I can go to the airport and say hello at last to meet Vengeance, my star. And waiting for him, but he's arrived and he's quite tired. Okay, tell him to come 3 o'clock. We start at 2, we come into the museum at 2 o'clock, so 3 o'clock or 4 maybe. So waiting for it. Now it's coming. Now it's at 4 o'clock, and suddenly the chief of production arrived and said, "He's arrived. This son of a bitch. You want to go back in the States? He's he's angry. He's doing everything. He's furious." Nah, I can't believe that Vengeance is banana. So I going up the stair, running up the stair, and see the makeup room, and see him behind with a shoulder like this, blonde, and I screaming, "Vengeance!" So he turned around, was really angry. But as soon he saw me, we are talking 69, so quite young. So he looked at me. "This is director." So young. From that moment, I was sure you can do it, but no. But why are you so angry? But no, because in the morning I'm terrific. But in the afternoon, the makeup, no, but this is only today. But no problem at all for the rest of the movie, because
it was just an actor's insecurity.
Yeah, but
shyness and nervousness at first. Yeah.
But no, as soon as I said, "But you are the director." But I remember him like the wonderful person.
Tell about the first day when you were shooting him and you're looking.
And then, so the first, it was a close-up. I prepared a big close-up of him. So ready, and I try and I do a rehearsal myself in the camera, watching him close up. All his movie. I was watching all his movie between the camera, and I didn't say action, traveling, nothing. It was just looking at him, fascinated. It was terrific to say, "Vengeance at last is with me. He will play in my movie." I said, "So great."
You do the camera, you're like, "That's a guy named Joe.
Yeah,
that's 30 seconds over Tokyo. That's 12 o'clock. Hi."